China has the world's second largest economy, one of the strongest militaries on Earth, massive global influence, and yet, officially, China is still considered a developing country. That makes absolutely no sense, unless China is playing a completely different game. Most people think the biggest rivalry on Earth looks like a future war. Missiles, aircraft carriers, fighter jets, a dramatic showdown in the Pacific. But that may be the wrong picture, because America and China are already fighting, just not in the way people imagine. America projects power visibly. Military bases, carrier strike groups, global alliances, sanctions, deterrence. You know when America enters the room. China's power often looks different. Ports, factories, railways, supply chains, loans, infrastructure, dependency, less dramatic, but potentially just as powerful. So why keep the developing country label? Because labels create advantages. Different expectations, different treatment, different diplomatic leverage. It allows China to say, we're still catching up, while operating like a major power. The real battlefield is your daily life. Who makes your electronics? Who controls shipping? Who refines strategic minerals? Who builds infrastructure abroad? Who becomes indispensable? America often thinks in election cycles. China often thinks in decades. That difference matters because in long strategic competition, time becomes a weapon. There is one place where the quiet war could become loud: Taiwan, where economics, military power, semiconductors, and identity collide. This is not just America versus China. It's a contest over who shapes the 21st century. One side projects force, the other builds leverage, and the future may belong to whoever builds the deepest dependencies. But here's the deeper question. What does dependency actually mean? Because dependency is not just trade, it's not just economics, it's power. Quiet power. Think about your phone, the chips inside it, the minerals in its battery, the factories that assembled it, the ships that delivered it. Modern power isn't only what a country can destroy, it's what the world cannot function without. Historically, great powers controlled territory, sea lanes, and resources. But in the 21st century, control can look cleaner. You don't need to occupy a country. You can become essential to its economy, its logistics, its manufacturing, its infrastructure. Because once dependence becomes structural, pressure becomes optional. The leverage already exists. Look at supply chains. When disruption in one region delays factories across continents, that's not just commerce. That's strategic influence. When countries rely on your ports, financing, manufacturing, and industrial inputs, they begin calculating around you. And when others must calculate around you, you already hold power, even without firing a shot. This is why infrastructure matters more than most people realize. Ports are not just ports. Railways are not just railways. Fiber cables are not just internet. Energy grids are not just utilities. These are influence systems, strategic plumbing for the global economy. The country helping build that architecture may be shaping future political behavior. America traditionally excels at rapid projection, fast response, visible deterrence, military reassurance. That matters. But strategic competition isn't always won by whoever reacts fastest. Sometimes it's won by whoever shapes the environment before the crisis even begins. That's a different mindset, less tactical, more structural. And this is where time becomes critical. Factories don't appear overnight. Supply chains take years. Industrial dominance takes decades. This is slow power. But slow power becomes sticky power, because once systems are built, replacing them becomes expensive, painful, politically difficult, sometimes nearly impossible. Which raises the real question: is America trying to win a competition or defend the system it built? And is China trying to defeat America directly or simply become too central to ignore? Those are not the same game. One side may think in confrontation, the other in accumulation, and that changes everything. That doesn't mean one side is guaranteed to win. Dependency cuts both ways. Over-reliance creates vulnerability. Countries diversify. Alliances adapt. Supply chains shift. No strategy is invincible. But the logic is real. The question may no longer be, who has the strongest military, but who has become hardest to live without? That doesn't mean one side is guaranteed to win. Dependency cuts both ways. Over-reliance creates vulnerability. Countries diversify. Alliances adapt. Supply chains shift. No strategy is invincible. But the logic is real. The question may no longer be, who has the strongest military, but who has become hardest to live without? This is not just America versus China. It's a contest over who shapes the 21st century. One side projects force, the other builds leverage, and the future may belong to whoever builds the deepest dependencies. If geopolitics feels intentionally confusing, subscribe. We explain the world without the jargon.